shape there. We're going to move on to final action then on SCR 1602, which was the Senate concurrent resolution on encouraging the governor to cooperate with the Trump administration with regard to the illegal, alien situation. And I don't know if, Jason, if you need to do a quick quick overview on that, or maybe just a very quick overview for Jason, and then we'll move on.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Senate Concurrent Resolution 1602, if you recall, was a resolution heard by this committee last week, encouraging Governor Kelly to fully cooperate with the policies of the Trump administration in enforcing federal immigration laws. It has numerous whereas clauses detailing the necessity for the Trump administration action, and then resolves that the legislature is in support of the Trump administration's efforts to secure the borders, stop illegal immigration, and protect communities, and encouraging Governor Kelly to cooperate with those enforcement policies.
Okay. Committee, any questions? Thank you, Jason. Seeing none, we'll move on. We do have an amendment from Senator Francisco, and I'll let Jason, Jason has a copy of those, and we'll just get those passed out, or have Angela pass them out, one of the two. Good morning. Very good. I've got one. And does everyone have one? Okay, Senator, do you want Jason to explain, or would you like to explain your amendment? Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will go ahead and explain it. I'm glad that I had the time to share it with him. First of all, I want to say thank you for the decision to work this today instead of last week, and particularly because it gave me the opportunity to review the written testimony that had been provided, and then we did get testimony from Sister Bangert. So in reviewing that testimony, I think there were concerns about making sure that we're focusing on illegal immigrants that have created criminal actions or violations, rather than try, particularly to focus in Kansas, on making that broader. There were concerns about community trust and public safety, and also fiscal responsibility. I think the comments that the responsibility for immigration enforcement is federal, and that particularly this year, I think we're all focused on trying to address what can we get done with the monies that we have. So I can go through this list. I've tried to put in bold. I've copied the wording from the resolution, put some strikeouts, and then in bold. So to begin, it talked about illegal immigration leads to severe repercussions, and I think it'd be more appropriate to say may have, because we don't know that it necessarily leads to that, and obviously it depends on those individuals. On the fourth whereas, I'm saying instead of the priority will include, it's probably more than one priority, so just say one priority is the deportation of illegal immigrants who have committed crimes. On the fifth, I think the resolution was saying it's increasingly becoming a bipartisan effort, but I am pleased about the work that President Biden was able to do at the border, and so I would acknowledge that it is a bipartisan effort. I could have numbered these. So number 7, we talked about many states are at the forefront of the effort to secure our, and it says our border. And I think we have to remember in the United States, we have a border with Canada and with Mexico, and this kind of, I think it's more appropriate to say our United States borders and include both. Next, I have not found any information, and did ask about this, about states and local jurisdictions making efforts or saying that they will resist efforts to secure the border. I think the efforts that I've seen are sanctuary cities. So I'm suggesting we take out efforts to secure the borders, again, saying United States, and then adding, when it starts, be it resolved, I'm talking about including the deportation of criminal illegal immigrants rather than just make that, try to narrow that focus. I think that was the concern. And then I would be uncomfortable with encouraging the governor to offer assistance through the National Guard. I think yesterday, President Trump made it very clear that he has plans about the borders, plans to use the military, and I didn't hear any requests for funding from the state. So I'd be happy to stand for any questions about these suggestions.
Okay, thank you, Senator. Any questions, comments? Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this a motion, and are they all at once, or are we taking these one at a time?
If we have the time, and I know we have a presentation, one at a time makes probably more sense. There may be some that people agree with, but I'm not expecting the committee to agree with everything.
Yeah, Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I would have voted it down if it was in its entirety. There are a couple that I would approve, but
Okay.
yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If we want to take it one at a time, we could do that very quickly. I think that might be the best way to go about that. Let's start with the first one, whereas illegal immigration may have rather than leads to severe repercussions. Any comments on that, or Senator Tyson?
The time, I will not be supporting this motion when it does occur, because we do have evidence that it leads to. All we have to do is look at the national level, the legislation that's being considered, passed the House, and is now in the Senate, the Riley-Gaines Act, I think it's referred to as.
Any other comment? I think what we'll do is just take these one at a time and vote them up or down.
I'm sorry, Lake and Riley.
Oh, Lake and Riley. Yeah. Any other comments or questions on this one? And we'll just take it one at a time. Seeing none, all those in favor of making the change on this one, say aye. All those opposed, nay. Okay, that one fails. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is, whereas one priority of this massive operation is the deportation of illegal immigrants. Any questions or comments on that particular one? Yeah. Oh, I did not get a second on that first motion. Let's see, the motion was made. You'll second on the first one? Okay, so we get a second there. All righty. I was moving a little too fast there, Jason. Sorry about that. On the next one, the one priority of this massive operation is the deportation of illegal immigrants. Any comments or questions on that one? Senator Falsigudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Francisco, when you say one as opposed to what others? I
would think that's a better question for the makers of the resolution or the writers of resolution, but they said the priority will include, and that seemed awkward to me because it's like one priority would include more than one thing. So
Just more clarification that, there are many priorities and that is one of the priorities. Did you have comments, Senator Thomas?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I like the idea of this particular amendment because it broadens it to say there's more than one operation. I know the main objective to the deportation is focused on deporting immigrants who have committed crimes. So when we say one priority, part of me wonders if we're maybe creating some of the narrative we heard about people who've lived here for decades and decades, possibly getting, a knock on their door saying, are you illegal, and then getting deported back. So my only concern with saying one priority is it opens the door for more stories like that, whereas if we say the priority, or maybe a substitute motion, the main priority perhaps of this massive operation is to focus on those who have committed crimes. So I would make a substitute motion that we change the one priority to the main priority.
Yes, Senator Tyson?
Just for clarification, substitute motion's not needed at this time because the original motion hasn't been made.
That is true.
My apologies.
It's kind of a discussion, but we would take a motion to amend that, if you want to make that a motion on this.
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes.
Discussion, Senator Gossage?
Yes, so if I could ask, so if we're changing that to the main priority of this massive operation is, as opposed to will include?
That's the only change is the main. I'm good with leaving is. That way we're saying the main priority is.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Would you want to make that motion then?
Yes, I move my motion.
Move your motion. Is there a second? Second by Senator Tyson. All those in favor say, or any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. That one passes. Okay. All righty. The next one is the very next line. This effort is a bipartisan effort, rather than increasingly becoming a bipartisan effort. Any discussion on this one? Senator Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would actually support this amendment because it makes it very clear that this is not increasingly, this is a bipartisan effort. So I would support this motion.
Any other discussion? Make that motion? You want to make that motion to, okay, Senator Thomas has a motion. Do we have a second? Senator Gossage. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. That one goes. That one passes. Next up is we jump down to whereas many states are at the forefront of the effort to secure, and it's stricken United States borders, or stricken our, and clarifies United States borders, and work with the Trump administration to do so, and then strikes and Kansas needs to join this effort. Any discussion on this one? Senator Blue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question would maybe be for Jason, and maybe it's just a grammatical thing. Should it be secure the United States borders or just United States borders? I feel like I'm in judiciary asking a tedious question.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I think a definite article, the there would be appropriate.
So it's grammatical. We can add the in there with just adjusting there. Any other discussion? Senator Tyson.
So I would yield to Senator Francisco if she wanted to make the motion to put the United States, but leave the second portion out. I don't want to strike the Kansas, because I feel like that is the intent of this resolution.
That's the intent of the resolution, yeah. I would agree. Senator Francisco, any?
I'm very comfortable with adding in the. I think that the concern that I read from the resolution was dealing with illegal immigration, not necessarily borders. We've passed resolutions previously, I think last year, about the borders. And when it says, and Kansas needs to join this effort, again, I really felt from the president's remarks that he was focusing on the military and plans, and I did not hear a call for states to join the effort. So I would be pleased to, or I would not,
There were.
the first motion to take that out.
I did find an article this weekend where just recently J.B. Pritzker at Illinois, I can't remember the governor's name in Massachusetts, and Murphy in New Jersey had said that they would resist cooperating with this. And there were a number of the sanctuary cities, but with states, Illinois, Massachusetts, and New Jersey for certain, the governors had stated they would not cooperate. And that was a Huffington Post article that I found just by a quick Google search. Yeah, Senator Francisco, I'm sorry.
Thank you. So was that cooperation with deportation or cooperation with the borders?
With deportation.
And so that was, this talks about borders, and that's why,
That's why you struck that and Kansas needs to join. Okay. Any further discussion? Senator Starnes.
Yes, the other thing, thank you, Mr. Chair. The other thing, by taking out our borders would also include our state borders. So let's say that other states around us chose to do and not do what the Trump administration is supporting. And would that protect our state, leaving that in our borders? That the implication would include not only the United States, but Kansas? Just a clarification question.
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Jason, would you have an opinion on that? That's just kind of a broad statement, so it's not legal, really. So never mind, Jason. Senator Gossage.
I agree with Senator Tyson in that I'm comfortable with the United States, but I'm not comfortable with leaving Kansas out. It's just a statement saying we need to be part of this effort.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions? I think what we'll do is we will, here's what we'll state as a potential motion. Just go with the secure the United States borders. And we'll just vote on the striking of the Kansas needs to join this effort. Do I have a motion to that? In other words, it would read, many states are at the forefront of the effort to secure the United States borders and work with the Trump administration to do so, and leave the last part stricken out. Do I have a motion on that? Senator Murphy?
Mr. Chairman?
Oh, yes.
Sorry, are we splitting this into two separate amendments now?
Actually, we could.
I think
I think we should do that. Do we have a motion
to add the word the?
divide the question on that one?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Senator Thomas, second by,
so we don't have a motion, so I don't know that we need to divide it at this
oh,
point.
that's probably true.
But I would make a motion to say the effort to secure the United States borders.
Okay, vote on that first, okay. Any further discussion? Do we need to have a second? Second by Senator Thomas. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. That portion passes. Now let's move on to the striking of the, and Kansas needs to join this effort. Any further discussion on that or a motion? Senator Francisco?
I'll make the motion to strike those words.
Okay, second on that? Senator Fascido seconds? Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no? No. Okay, that portion fails, so that will, the stricken part will remain in. Okay. Next is striking of efforts to secure the border and deport illegal immigrants. Any discussion on that one? Senator Gossage.
For the same reason, I think we need to leave that in and not have it stricken.
Any further discussion? Senator Francisco?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just say that the previous whereas talks about securing the borders, and so this would just be acknowledging that states and local jurisdictions have acknowledged they'll resist the Trump's administration efforts, but to deport illegal immigrants. And I think that's more clear statement about what has happened. Because of that, I would move adoption.
Move the adoption of that motion. Do I have a second on that? Senator Fasquedo. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. We leave that one in, or we do not strike that portion. Next is, the next one goes back to the secure our United States borders. I don't know if we want to do the United States borders again on the correction on that, Senator Gossage.
I move that we change it to the United States borders.
Any further discussion? Oh, you moved that. Okay. Second by Senator Thomas. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. That passes. The next one is including the deportation of criminal, and that specifies criminal illegal immigrants. Any discussion on that? Senator Tyson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I won't be supporting this motion because illegal immigrants are criminal. They broke the law in order to get to the United States. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Senator Francisco?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Perhaps our reviser could suggest some wording that would say it might be illegal immigrants who have committed other criminal activity. I'm not suggesting that the senator would go along with that, but I think that I understand her objection.
I don't know, Jason, if you have any alterations, suggestions. I think it's more of an opinion than anything on that.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, yes, I think the language the senator is proposing there would be something along the lines, including the deportation of illegal immigrants who have committed one or more criminal acts in addition or while in the United States, something to that effect.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. Senator Fasquedo.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. So if I may ask Senator Tyson, so was your statement that regardless of whether or not they've committed a criminal act, you're saying the overall piece is it's a criminal act that they even came to the United States? Clarify, please.
Senator Tyson.
Well, if we start defining that they've been charged, they've been charged, they've been prosecuted, then it's a slippery slope to the definition of criminal act. And I just think we leave that up to the discretion that if they're here illegally and they've come across law enforcement for some reason, the odds are they need to be considered for deportation.
Senator Murphy.
Thank you, Chair. For Jason, is there code for immigration? U.S. code?
Yes, there are federal laws regarding immigration.
So if you didn't follow that, you would be what?
Those who enter the country without following the proper procedure under United States federal immigration law have entered the country unlawfully and are present unlawfully in the United States.
And therefore breaking the law. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Senator Blue?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jason, I have another question. This may be a reciprocity question. If I have a driver's license from another country and I were to drive in the state of Kansas, is that driver's license valid? If somebody came over from across the border and they drove a vehicle, but they have a driver's license from another country, are they legal to drive in the state of Kansas?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I do not know that. I would have to review the driver's license statute.
Thank you. I guess what I'm trying to get at is there may be minor reasons of why they are also breaking the law, and if we were to add in one more and then one more, eventually all could add up. So I do not support this. I don't think it's needed. Thank you.
Senator Fasquedo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, so are there any exceptions? So an individual who may not be totally legal, but say they've lived in Kansas for 50 years. And are we looking at any provisions that would address that issue?
Well, we'll let the committee decide on the wording on this and whether they feel like that is germane to the conversation or not. Senator Thomas?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think we clarified that earlier with the earlier amendment to this bill, talking about the main focus with those who have a criminal record. So I think by making that change, I think that makes this uniform as written.
Okay. Any other discussion on this one?
I didn't quite understand that comment because I agree with Senator Tyson. I don't believe criminal is necessary. Okay. That the Trump administration is enforcing immigration laws in the state of Kansas. So it says fully cooperate with the Trump administration in enforcing immigration laws in the state of Kansas, including the deportation of illegal immigrants. I think that's all that's necessary. I don't think we need the word criminal added.
Senator Thomas, did you want to clarify?
I agree. And what I meant, what I meant by that was earlier when we said the main priority will focus on the deportation of illegal immigrants who have committed crimes. So now we've said that's our main focus, and this particular section as written says go along with national law as far as illegal immigration. So I think with the earlier amendment we did, saying our main priority will be those who have committed crimes, I think this is harmonious with that, so I don't think this change is needed.
Okay. Any further discussion? Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the earlier comment was related to the federal program, and we have no control over that. So, and that's why I would like to be consistent, so I will go ahead and make a motion to say, including the deportation of illegal immigrants who have committed a criminal act while in the United States in addition to entering the country illegally.
Okay. We got that motion. Is there a second? Second by Senator Faustigedo. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Okay, that one goes down. Okay. Next one is striking the "be it further resolved" paragraph about urging Governor Kelly to use her lawful authority to help secure the border. Any discussion or motions on that one? Senator Faustigedo?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So when you said be it resolved, are you just talking about that entire paragraph?
Yeah, that entire paragraph is stricken in this amendment, so any discussion or motions on that one? Senator Tyson?
Thank you. Again, I won't be supporting this motion when it's made. I feel like this is critical. We passed funding last year, the legislature did, allowing the governor to send the Guard to Texas for this effort. I just think we need to reiterate to the governor and others that we are supportive. Thank you.
Any other discussion or motions? Senator Faustigedo?
Mr. Chairman, so if we're saying Governor Kelly should fully cooperate with now President Trump, enforcement of immigration laws, so are we talking about, and maybe Jason can help with this in the resolution, are we talking about current existing federal laws, or are we talking about some of the new suggestions or provisions that President Trump has made?
And before Jason can answer, but if you read, it says to use her lawful authority to help secure the border. So that's what I saw, and that's kind of a state, whatever powers that the governor has to do that. So I don't know if you can add anything to that, Jason, or do you think that answers, or did you have another question?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, you said to use her, but I'm reading for Governor Kelly to fully cooperate. Am I on the wrong page?
Well, it's let me show you. Oh, it's on this one right here.
Okay,
Right
gotcha.
there. Yeah, there
Thank
we
you,
go.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Look at you. Oh, never mind.
Good thing we're close. Did you have any further questions? Okay, okay. Seeing none, do I have any motions on that? Senator Francisco?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that this, be it further resolved, encouraging Governor Kelly to use her lawful authority be struck in entirety.
Okay, any second on that? Second by Senator Fasquedo. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no? No. Okay, that remains in. The only other change is the next one about securing our United States border again. Oh, yeah, Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would make a motion on this, but also to include the reference to the border in the previous, be it further resolved, where it talks about lawful authority to help secure the United States borders.
So add "the" in there, correct?
Well, the is there, but add United States borders to be consistent with the way we've addressed borders the rest of the time. And then at the same time, do make that wording in the second, be it for, or third, be it further resolved clause. I guess second, be it further resolved.
I'm missing it.
Right, and the one that failed.
We're at-
One that failed, we're adding.
One that failed.
Right.
Yes.
The language is staying in there, she's asking if.
Oh, secure, oh,
Where it went up, but this one how it failed, but she was striking this, so she didn't amend it. Am I on the right?
I think,
Yeah, so
so what, read it so that I,
okay, so since the wording is staying in on be it further resolved, we would say Governor Kelly to use her lawful authority to help secure the United States borders. So we would just be adding the United States and making it borders, and then it would be consistent throughout the resolution.
that's in the next to the last paragraph.
It's again in the next to last, so I'm saying in this motion to do it both times, so in all resolutions.
I see. So you're making a substitute motion on, or a
Making a
a
motion,
motion to amend that first be it resolved paragraph.
the first be it resolved and the second at the same time, so we can be done.
Oh, okay. Okay. You sure, to help secure the, oh, I see, to keep it consistent. I got it now. I'm a little slow today. Sorry about that. Senator Gossage. Yeah. Oh, okay. Borders, plural, I know, would that include state of Kansas borders? Right. Senator Murphy?
Would that include Hawaii and Alaska? We've got,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know,
I have no problem with borders, I'm just.
Okay.
Is that necessary? We've already approved it on other places.
As plural? Okay, okay. Any further, Senator Thomas?
I think for me, when I think of when we talk about the northern border, the southern border, I think when our national level folks talk about northern border, southern border, I think if we leave it as borders, that no longer leaves it open for interpretation. So somebody can say, well, we're talking about the northern border. So I think by leaving it as borders, plural, I think that covers all of our bases and prevents any potential legal challenge.
Senator Gossage?
It was just further thought that I thought, wait, every country has a border, so, but I'm not opposed to leaving it borders, it's okay.
All right. Senator Tyson? Okay, you made the motion, right? Is there a second on that one? Oh, second, okay, Fasquedo. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Okay, so we tweaked that, and I think that's the extent of the amendment. Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would ask, in fact, I will make a motion that we change any reference to Laura Kelly or Governor Kelly to be the governor of Kansas, or as the grammar fits. And I'll just make that,
Motion.
give the revisor leeway to make that change.
Absolutely.
So that way it's not.
Specific, yeah, that makes sense. The governor needs to be the governor. Second by Senator Gossage. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. That motion passes. Okay, we're back on the resolution. Any further discussion or motions on the resolution? All righty. Yeah, that'd be fine.
I move that we pass as amended SCR 1602, favorably for passage.
Favorably by passion. Second by, I heard Senator Thomas first before. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Oh, Senator Faust-Godot.
I just want my no vote recorded. I'm really moved by the letter that's in our folder from Claudia Merrill. I know her personally, and she has done so many great things for the city of Wichita and for the state of Kansas. And she's my friend. I wouldn't want to see her leave, so I vote no.
Okay. All righty. So we have a motion by Senator Tyson, second by Senator Thomas. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. We have the noes, 2 noes, and recorded by Senator Faust-Godot. Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I would like to be recorded, but also thank the committee for really focusing on the resolution and appreciate that.
Sure thing. All righty. So SCR 1602 passes out favorably. Head to the Senate floor. Thank you, committee, for that. And that's all the final action we have. We do have a legislative post-audit brief. We've got about 10 minutes left. And Sam Dabbs from the Legislative Post-Audit. Sam, I hope we gave you enough time to give us a quick overview. This is on a legislative post-audit regarding, I think it was Ford County, correct? And Sam,
Correct.
Welcome to Federal and State Affairs.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, committee. My name is Sam Dads. I'm a senior auditor with Legislative Post Audit. Today, I'm going to present some of the findings from our limited scope audit titled Reviewing Ford County's Ballot Reconciliation Process During the 2024 Primary Election. So this audit had one question, and that was, did Ford County have an adequate process for ensuring the number of voted ballots reconciled with the number of voters in the 2024 primary election? Kristen Rottinghouse was the manager of this audit. So the answer to this audit is that Ford County's ballot reconciliation process did not ensure the number of voted ballots reconciled with the number of voters in the 2024 primary election. The findings that led us to this answer is that Ford County has 5 polling sites. Poll workers at one of the 5 polling sites did not follow the proper process, which caused voted ballots to exceed the poll book check-ins by 1 ballot. So state law requires 2 major things for ballot reconciliation, and one is the number of ballots cast must reconcile with the number of poll book check-ins as soon as the polls close, and the cause of any discrepancies must be reported in writing to the county election officer if the cause is known. 2, voters must sign the poll book before voting. So from what we can tell, based on our review of the poll book logs and the testimony of the Ford County election officer, poll workers at one of the polling sites allowed another poll worker to vote without signing the poll book. We saw that the check-in process was started, but it was never completed. Poll workers at the site did not complete the ballot reconciliation sheet provided by the election officer. Instead, the workers had a handwritten tally, and the tally appeared to misrepresent the poll book count because it showed the poll book counts matching with the tabulation counts throughout the day. It's unclear why the poll workers didn't document the discrepancy between the poll book counts and the tabulation counts and explain the cause in writing to the county election officer like they were supposed to. So the election officer certified the results based on the handwritten tally sheet created by the poll workers. and the election officer was not aware of the issue immediately because the election office staff don't check that the reconciliation reports from poll workers are accurate. She learned about the discrepancy through our audit work. And according to the Ford County Ford County election officer, the poll worker who voted without signing the poll book had told her that the poll book malfunctioned and didn't record their check-in when they had voted. However, the election officer said the worker didn't tell her this until a couple days after the election ended. And the election officer told us that the poll worker should have switched to a different poll book immediately when they suspected a problem with the poll book function. They should have also required the poll worker to sign a new poll book before being allowed to vote. And based on our review of the poll book logs and the activity, the poll book appeared to work properly throughout the day. So the election officer said she plans to retrain the poll workers and provide them with worksheets they can use to report any voting equipment malfunctions to the election office. And we also reviewed Ford County's poll books for specific language that must be included on the signature page. So state law requires that a declaration appear on each signature page that in-person voters attest to, and generally it states they are a registered voter in Kansas, they're signing their own name, and they're qualified to vote. Ford County's poll books had a declaration on the signature page. However, that language was outdated and didn't reflect the current declaration required by state law. The Ford County election officer provided documentation showing they've updated their poll books and provisional poll books to comply with state law as of September 15th, 2024. And because they've already updated their poll books to follow state law, we had no recommendations for the issue. The audit only had one recommendation, and that was that the Ford County election officer should ensure that poll workers follow procedures for reconciling the number of ballots cast with poll book check-ins on election day according to state law. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you, Sam. By the way, anybody who doesn't sit on post-audit committee or is not aware of it, they do some very, very good work on auditing. And committee, any questions for Sam regarding this? Senator Fasquedo.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So for clarification, so we do know that in different counties, some of the processes are somewhat different. And so are you talking about the actual signature of a handwritten book, the signature, or are you talking about the electronic device where we sign with the black pen to your comments in this presentation?
You're asking about the type of poll books they use? Ford County uses the electronic poll books.
Any other questions, committee? Senator Gossage.
I'm not sure you can address this. Thank you, Mr. Chair. There was some discussion, I'm from Johnson County, but I have 4 counties within District 9, about how is it that if somebody collects a ballot or somebody mails in a ballot, and perhaps Clay is in the audience today, could address this, but what are the steps that they go through to validate that this person is registered to vote, eligible to vote in the state of Kansas for those that are concerned?
You're asking about mail-in ballots?
Yeah, mail-in ballots, to a ballot that's brought in, you know, that somebody brought in that could have been mailed. There are certain steps that they go through, right? It's not just automatically approved.
Right. So mail-in ballots generally in the state, they have to be registered to vote. The election officer will check that they're registered to vote when they fill out the application for an advanced ballot. They'll send them out an advanced ballot with a ballot envelope that they have to sign with their signature. If there's no signature on the ballot envelope, they don't count the ballot. Anybody filling out the ballot for the person, if they have a disability or need assistance, they also have to attest that they filled out the ballot for them and didn't have any undue influence on the individual. But that's pretty much the process there.
Okay, and then validating a signature, correct?
Yes, validating the signature that's on the envelope.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Sam. I'd like to thank Kristen, too, the post-audit committee. You guys did great work on this. I appreciate it, and it was under a short time frame. They aren't supposed to count the ballot, but does it go in the provisional box when there's not a signature on it?
You're asking about the mail-in ballots again?
Yes.
I'm not sure of the exact process, but if they're not valid, they're kept separate from all the other valid ballots.
We could have Clay come up and answer that.
That's okay. I think
if-
I made my point.
Okay.
I wanted to, off of the remarks of the ranking good senator, we do have inconsistencies across the state and different counties that handle it differently. I think this audit demonstrated, too, that we have counties that don't necessarily comply with the law. We can write all the laws we want, but if they're not complying, and I think we have a disconnect as to who enforces those laws, who's responsible between the Secretary of State, the county clerk's office, and we've got a major hole. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, any other discussion, questions? Senator Francisco, sorry.
Thank
Yeah, it's throwing me off here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for this audit. What is, I mean, again, what is the process if there was a mistake made and the time that it may happen is when you're voting provisional ballots, you know, and then you have a different poll book for the provisional ballots, and that would not necessarily go through. I'm trying to remember if that goes through the electronic poll book or if it's a paper ballot. But I do know that in one polling place in Douglas County during the August 22 election, there were 32 ballot styles. Because of the number of either townships we've split apart, because they're, you know, different school districts. Anyway, it put a lot of pressure on those poll workers to try to keep track, and they had difficulty. I'm guessing they were able to reconcile the number of ballots cast with the poll book, but they were not able to get them by the no color of the ballot, right? Because there were so many, and it was like 9 o'clock before. So I think this question may have been answered, but what is the opportunity? Is it just to file the report? Is that the concern that the poll workers have to acknowledge? Here's a discrepancy, and this is what we believe happened?
As far as communicating any kind of discrepancy, state law just says that the discrepancy should be reported, must be reported in writing to the county election officer if the cause of the discrepancy is known.
If I may follow up.
Francisco, yeah.
So what is the process if the cause of the discrepancy is not known? I mean, do they still filing a report saying there's a discrepancy, but it's not known?
That we don't know. State law says that the ballots have to be reconciled with the poll books at the close of polling. What happens after that, we're unsure. We didn't cover that topic in the audit.
Would you like, I don't know if Clay Barker from the Secretary of State's office has any, Clay, if you'd like to add to that, or have an answer on that one?
Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Chair. I would prefer to have Brian Caskey answer that question when it goes to these particular procedures at counties. And Senator Gottsch, I can answer your question after the committee. But when it gets to the particular procedures, I'd rather have him do it. He's the expert that knows it a lot better than I do.
Okay.
I apologize for that.
Oh, no problem at all. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you for your presentation, Sam. We appreciate it very, very much. Tomorrow we will have a hearing on, I think it's SB 4, which is the eliminating the 3-day grace period. And that is it for today. Thank you for your hard work today, committee. And with that, we are adjourned.